My best friend's sister had a sore shoulder. I gave her a massage. She said, "You're better than my ex-captain." Jake Harris had known his best friend Tyler Moore since their academy days, and over the years, Tyler's younger sister, Amy Moore, had become a familiar face around the space station. But Jake had always kept his distance out of respect for their friendship. The deep space mining facility orbited a distant moon, where human workers extracted rare minerals that powered half the galaxies. Technology and Jake commanded the security detail that kept everyone safe from pirates and hostile alien encounters. One evening after a particularly brutal shift, Jake found Amy sitting alone in the recreation bay, rubbing her right shoulder with a grimace on her face. Tyler mentioned, "You pulled a double shift in the excavation tunnels," Jake said as he approached. Amy looked up and nodded. "Yeah. The new drilling equipment is heavier than the old models and my shoulder is killing me." Without thinking, Jake offered, "I know some massage techniques from my military training if you want help." I hesitated for only a moment before accepting gratefully. "That would be amazing, actually." Jake positioned himself behind her and began working on the tense muscles around her shoulder blade using firm but careful pressure, and Amy let out a soft sigh of relief. "You are really good at this," she murmured. "Just something they taught us for field injuries," Jake replied, trying to keep things professional as he worked. Amy started talking about her ex-boyfriend Marcus, who had been a technician on the station before transferring to another facility. And Jake learned that Marcus had been selfish and never paid attention to Amy's needs. "You are better than my ex," Amy said suddenly. Jake's hands paused for a moment. "What do you mean?" "Marcus never did anything like this for me." Amy explained. "He was always too busy or too tired to care about what I needed." Jake resumed the massage, feeling an unexpected warmth in his chest. "Well, you deserve better than that." Their conversation continued, and Jake found himself enjoying Amy's company more than he expected, and she talked about her dreams of becoming a chief engineer and exploring uncharted systems. When Jake finished the massage, Amy rotated her shoulder experimentally and smiled with genuine relief. "Thank you so much, Jake. I feel 100 times better." Over the following weeks, Jake and Amy began spending more time together, and Tyler noticed but seemed surprisingly okay with it. And Jake learned that Amy had always been interested in him but had stayed quiet because of the friendship dynamic. One day, an emergency alert blared through the station, and hostile ships appeared on the sensors belonging to the Kraloth Empire. And the Kraloth were a reptilian species known for their aggressive expansion policies. Jake immediately went into combat mode and organized the defense teams while Amy worked with the engineering crew to reinforce the station's shields. The battle was intense and Kraloth fighters swarmed around the facility, firing plasma bursts that shook the entire structure, and Jake coordinated the counterattack from the command center, barking orders and monitoring casualty reports. Amy's voice crackled over the comms. "Jake, we have a breach in Sector 7. The Kraloth are trying to board." Jake grabbed his weapon and led a squad to intercept the invaders, and when they arrived, Kraloth warriors were already cutting through the bulkhead doors with their energy blades. The firefight was brutal, and Jake's team fought with everything they had, pushing the aliens back inch by inch. And during the chaos, Jake spotted a Kraloth soldier aiming at Amy, who was trying to seal an emergency hatch. Without hesitation, Jake threw himself in front of her, taking a glancing plasma shot to his armor that sent him sprawling. Amy screamed and dragged Jake behind cover while returning fire with a maintenance laser torch that she modified into a makeshift weapon. The Kraloth warrior advanced, but Tyler appeared from a side corridor and took it down with precise shots, and together the three of them held the sector until reinforcements arrived. When the battle finally ended and the Kraloth retreated, Jake found himself in the medical bay with Amy sitting beside him, holding his hand. "You saved my life," she whispered. Jake squeezed her hand gently. "You have saved mine too, in ways you do not even realize." Tyler walked in and looked at them, both with a knowing smile. "Just ask her out already, Jake. I have been waiting for you two to figure this out for months." Jake laughed, despite the pain in his ribs, and looked at Amy. "So what do you say? Want to grab dinner when I get out of here?" Amy leaned down and kissed his forehead. "I thought you would never ask." In the weeks that followed, Jake and Amy became inseparable, and the entire station crew noticed the change, and even the usually stoic Commander Williams commented that Jake seemed happier than she had ever seen him. Amy continued her engineering work and impressed everyone with her innovative solutions to complex problems, and Jake supported her ambitions while managing his security responsibilities. One evening they stood Together at the observation deck watching the stars, and Amy rested her head on Jake's shoulder, the same one he had massaged months ago. "Think about how this all started," Amy said with a smile. Jake wrapped his arm around her. "Yeah, a sore shoulder and a massage." Me looked up at him, but it was more than that. "You actually cared about how I felt, and Marcus never did that, and no one ever did that." Jake kissed her forehead. "You deserve someone who cares, Amy, and I am glad I get to be that person." Their relationship grew stronger, and Tyler fully approved, even joking that Jake was already like a brother to him anyway. Months later, when Amy received an offer to join an exploration mission to uncharted space, Jake encouraged her to accept it, even though it meant they would be apart for a while. "You have to follow your dreams," Jake told her, "and I will be here when you get back." I hugged him tightly, "and I will come back, Jake, I promise." The day Amy left on the explorer ship was difficult, but Jake watched the vessel disappear into the void with pride and love in his heart. Tyler stood beside him. "And you really love her, do not you?" Jake nodded. "Yeah, I." Tyler clapped him on the shoulder. "Then you better start planning how you are going to propose when she gets back." Jake laughed and started thinking about rings and the future. Amy's mission lasted 6 months, and during that time she sent regular messages back to the station, describing incredible discoveries and alien civilizations that welcomed human contact. Jake saved every message and counted down the days until her return. When Amy finally came back, she ran into Jake's arms in the docking bay and kissed him in front of everyone. "I missed you so much," she said breathlessly. Jake held her close. "I missed you too, and I have something important to ask you." I pulled back slightly, looking curious. "What is it?" Jake got down on one knee right there in the busy docking bay and pulled out a simple but elegant ring. "Me more, will you?" Mary Mimi's eyes filled with tears, and she nodded vigorously. Yes, of course I will." The crowd that had gathered erupted in cheers, and Tyler pushed through to hug them both. Their wedding was held on the station with crew members from every department attending, and Commander Williams officiated the ceremony with surprising warmth as Jake and Amy exchanged vows. They reflected on how a simple act of kindness had led to something beautiful. Life on the frontier was dangerous and unpredictable, but Jake and Amy faced it together, and their love became a source of strength for everyone around them. Years later, when they had children of their own, they would tell the story of how it all began with a sore shoulder and a massage. And Amy would always add, smiling, "and how your father was better than my ex in every possible way." Their family grew, and their legacy continued, and the Moore Harris name became respected throughout the sector. Jake never forgot that evening in the recreation bay when he made the choice to help someone in need. And Amy never forgot the man who saw her as more than just his best friend's sister. Together they proved that even in the vast darkness of space, love could flourish and grow, and that sometimes the greatest adventures begin with the smallest gestures of kindness.